President Trump's $5 million gold card visa plan, we just talked about it with Kevin Hassett, comes with a secret tax loophole. And Robert?
I did a video on this a couple of days ago about this proposed gold card that's Trump is about to do this. I mean, believe it or not. And some of the comments that I got in my video, because I have the best subscribers. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. The comments that we're getting are just phenomenal. But one of the comments was, so we have to be rich to live in this country now? Is that the path that we're taking? Well, not necessarily. These are the loopholes that the ultra rich are finding so they can capitalize off of this proposed gold card.
Joins us now to explain what we're talking about.
Good morning, Andrew. Good to see you. Well, President Trump saying it is that new $5 million gold card will start selling in just 2 weeks.
We're going to call it the gold card, and I think it's going to be very treasured. I think it's going to do very well, and we're going to start selling hopefully in about 2 weeks. Now, just so you understand, if we sell 1 million, right, 1 million, that's $5 trillion, $5 trillion.
Immigration attorneys saying they're already getting lots of calls from interested clients, and one reason is this secret tax loophole that would give the overseas rich a tax benefit that is not available to Americans. Now, right now, U.S. citizens and permanent residents, they have to pay income taxes on all of their worldwide incomes that's earned in the U.S. and anything earned overseas. Gold card holders will only be taxed on their domestic U.S. income. Their overseas income will be exempt. Attorneys say it's the only way.
Do you guys see where this is going? If you're a foreigner, you buy this cheap card because by all accounts, this will be cheap for them. And the money that they make overseas converted to US dollars. Come on now. Come on now. Is that a loophole? Would you do it? That's the question. Don't sit around and complain about this gold card and it's for the ultra rich and this and that. Put yourself in those shoes. If you were the ultra rich, would you do it? Yeah, that's what I thought.
That the global rich would actually want to become U.S. residents. Now, the gold card replaces the EB-5 investment program that has a long waiting list right now, but that program only requires investments of about $900,000 to $1 million, and that money has to create jobs, usually in a rural area. Trump's saying there will be no job or investment requirements for this gold card. Now, over 60 countries right now promote some kind of investment visa program. A record 135,000 millionaires will move to another country this year, with the UAE and the U.S. being the top destinations. Now, for more on this whole gold card program and where the wealthy are getting their visas, check out my new Inside Wealth newsletter out this morning. CNBC.com/InsideWealth. CNBC.com/InsideWealth.
So we just heard from Kevin Hassett that actually the $5 million figure has not even been set, and that he believes that the price could actually go up because he thinks that the market value of these cards is higher. Then there's a question of the TAM. What is the total addressable market for this product? The president suggested that there were 1 million people with $5 million of disposable income that would want to buy such a product. So is that plausible? That's $5 trillion if true.
There's about 270,000 people in the world worth 30 million or more. I mean, realistically, you'd have to be worth around that to pay 270,000 people in outside the U.S.
That's 700,000 off from 1 million, just basically.
200,
even more.
270,000. That's a lot off from 1 million. 270,000 people in the world worth 30 million or more. So that's really the addressable market. When you look at the UK or Australia, they had a similar program. It was half the price, and they got less than 1,000 people a year. Now, that's the UK and Australia, but they were very attractive programs, and they also contain the same tax benefit that this would provide. I think it's going to be, the folks I talked to yesterday, these are advisors.
Be real. Did y'all even know that this existed? Did you guys know that this was even taking place in all these other countries until now? Did Trump make this a popular topic, conversation in your house lately? Comment below.
That counts a lot of the wealthy. They said that it could be in the thousands, not likely in the tens or hundreds of thousands. But they also said, if this is what it says it will be, which is fast track, you're all in, and you're done, and you're a permanent resident, they could say you could probably charge twice that amount. Because there's so many people, mainly China, Russia, and the Middle East, that want
And are
this.
these people who would not otherwise get a visa? I mean, that is the other question.
It's hard for anyone to get a visa right now.
Right.
When you're wealthy, there are various programs in the U.S. right now that if you have a U.S. division of your company, you can stay here for a certain period of time. But all of these programs have long waiting lists. They're backlogs. It's impossible to know when or if you'll ever get one.
So just
the certainty of getting in, you just pay the money. Now, you're not getting an investment, unlike any other program where you're actually investing in something where you get a return. This is like straight to the government. You're not getting a piece of real estate or an investment fund. So that's the downside. But if it is truly what they say it will be, which is basically few questions asked, you're in and you're good forever.
But you say few questions asked, and that's a huge question mark about this whole program.
That's what nobody knows. When they say vetted, what does that mean? I mean, if you're paying this much, there's probably not going to be a lot of vetting. Now, what they found in the UK was that a lot of people who had used that program were people that were sanctioned by other countries, largely Russians, that had gotten into the UK program. So the question will be, for instance, the people that can use this, will they allow in Russians that are sanctioned not by the U.S. but by other countries? Will they allow in people from Venezuela, from governments that we know there are a lot of corrupt officials?
Right.
So far, we don't have those parameters.
The president seemed to suggest that there were companies that he felt would actually use this as a service to get their executives into the country. That also suggested to me that would, unless you're a CEO.
It's kind of a shakedown, right? Because right now, if you're Apple and you want a great executive that's in Taiwan or that's in China, you really can't get them. It's almost impossible. So this is a way to say, okay, you can't get it under the legal, logical program because those programs are so dysfunctional. So just pay the $5 or $10 million and we'll get your guy.
But is that dozens of people a year? Is that hundreds of people a year? Is that thousands?
I was surprised talking to the immigration attorneys yesterday. They said that most of the demand for this program will come from big companies. And I said, how many people, $5 million to pay for an employee, that's got to be a very senior person over a long period of time.
An AI engineer.
Exactly. And they said you would be surprised.
If you suck at your job and you don't think you're actually making them a lot of money, let's just say you have a 9-to-5 job, you go in, you go get your coffee, you make your rounds, you go talk to people, you sit down, you look at emails, you get back up, you get distracted. They say on average, the person works maybe 2 hours out of an 8-hour day. Like literally, like you're getting that amount out of work out of somebody. If a company is paying $5 million, trust me, that person is going to come in and make triple that, if not by orders of magnitude. So your competition is coming. Unfortunately, your days are limited. Pick up the slack, start working hard because things are going to change rapidly. The competition is going to be fierce.
Especially in the chip industry with Taiwan and in China. They would pay it. Now, would they pay $10 million? I don't know.
And then would they pay for their families to come too?
Well, and that's the question. Does it include your family if it's the $5 million? But there is
5 visas.
But everyone I talked to said yesterday, one guy said, Trump is our new business development officer. He is giving us business that we haven't ever seen before because of all the calls coming in.